So you're looking for a police response.
Winner, winner, I eat chicken TV dinner. Welcome back to Here's the Deal, man.
Here's the deal, man.
Here's the deal, boy. Tonight's show going down.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
This day you will be caged by evil Trooper Brown.
Today, we're in Savannah, Georgia, and you can record, you just can't record here.
Would you just mind kind of just taking your videotaping like somewhere else?
You ever notice with some cops, there's always somewhere else to record until there's nowhere else to record? Oh, and in case I forgot to tell you, your lawyer doesn't want you answering any questions.
Do you mind telling me what you're recording for?
What are you vlogging? Are you from around here? How long have you been in this area? So what are your plans after we're done here? I
don't know, Sarge. What'd you have in mind? Well, at least they're not going to ask for an innocent man's cell phone number.
Do you have a telephone number? Do you know when I give it to you?
What the hell is wrong with you people? Here, let me put it a different way.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
These Georgia cops, the highly intelligent breed that they are, tried to solicit a trespass for a guy who never stepped foot on a certain property. When confronted about that, this 3-bar sergeant rips off one of the most well thought out, articulate answers you could ever expect from a state agent.
How they gonna trespass me from somewhere I've never been?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sergeant Super Size Me, with his eyes wide shut, admits that it's not illegal to record on a public sidewalk.
Yes, it's not illegal to be on the sidewalk and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not.
But continues to insist that the cameraman, while exercising his rights, may be casing the joint.
I'd rather roll a joint than case one.
And while these officers clearly have an appetite for something other than American freedoms, they display their gross deficiency on the most basic tenets of the supreme law of the land.
You know all 5 elements of the First Amendment?
Freedom to say what you want, freedom to worship who you want, freedom to peacefully protest. Recording?
Of course.
That's not in the First Amendment.
Now, I just found out about I Eat Chicken TV from Josh over at Accountability for All. And let's face it, these two are troublemakers, trying to ruin and disrupt perfectly functioning tyranny. How are we ever going to achieve the totalitarian ideal of a complete idiocratic police state of enslavement and control with these two knuckleheads walking around in public places, filming cops in banks and holding badged clowns accountable? So let's hit the highlights of this filmed exercise of constitutional rights. Oh, speaking of exercise, we begin with a rather weighty example of deep-fried American ignorance.
Is there something we can help you with? Because you're filming the exterior of my branch. Well, I just want to let you know we've dispatched the police as a concern for our safety. Okay.
We've dispatched the police as a concern for our safety.
You know, some might say if you were really this concerned, you wouldn't dispatch officers as a concern for your safety. You'd dispatch ketones as a concern for your longevity. Seriously, if you're this concerned about harm coming to your person, maybe focus less on cameramen on sidewalks and more on carrot juice and celery stalks. And lest you think I'm being cruel or unkind, this caring common sense commentary is corroborated by Mayo Clinic and Harvard Health and NIH and WebMD and pretty much every reputable medical journal on the planet.
Are you Jaylen?
Huh?
Are you Jaylen?
Huh?
Are you Jaylen?
I don't know. Why?
Okay. I'm Officer from the Savannah Police Department. Here's the deal, man.
Now, I don't know how seriously you take wildfires, but in certain arid places, this is dangerous. When enough weight is applied to the thighs, it's called the Firewalk. This cameraman's life and the lives of everyone in the vicinity are in jeopardy. Let me explain. This is what's known as a high friction event. Friction causes heat, heat can cause a fire or a spark, and even with the brilliant green grass in this area, who's to say there's not a natural gas leak? Just walking up on the public sidewalk, these officers pose a serious safety risk.
We were out here before, and they're having issues with you videotaping.
I'm on the sidewalk.
Okay, they just don't want you coming back here anymore. If you do,
I
it's
was
gonna be a
never here.
trespass.
I was never here.
Okay.
I'm on the sidewalk.
Do you mind telling me what you're recording for?
Just recording a video, an educational video. Can I get your name and badge number?
Yeah, I'll give you my card.
Yeah. Can I get yours too? And you guys, your body cam's recording?
Yep, mine's on.
So what did you guys tell them inside?
Nothing, I just spoke to them. They just said that they wanted you removed from the property, so.
From the sidewalk? I was never on their property.
Okay.
And I didn't say a word to them. They
Okay.
came out and spoke to me. But I know how they like to make up stuff, and
Okay.
I didn't say a word.
Okay. Just for your sake and their sake, and so we don't have to keep coming back and talking to you. I can tell it's probably getting annoying at this point. Would you
I'm
just-
not annoyed. I like
Okay.
talking to people.
Would you just mind kind of just taking your videotaping like somewhere else instead of PNC Bank? A lot of people are saying you're making them uncomfortable.
Well, I'm on the sidewalk,
Okay.
on the public sidewalk, just
Okay,
recording
just
the
don't
video.
go up to the windows and.
Oh, I never went up to the window.
Go inside, okay?
I was all the way over there.
Okay, just.
I never went up to the window.
Alrighty, man.
And then I came right here, and she ran out, and she was like, "I'm gonna call the police."
Okay.
And I said, "Okay." Well, I didn't say nothing. In my mind, I was like, "Okay,"
Okay, I got
but
you.
I never went up to the window
Okay, I got you. Well,
because I'm not allowed to go on the property
do
and
me a favor
record.
and kind of just stay away from the bank area. Don't
What do you
go to the
mean?
windows and
Nah,
don't go
I didn't
inside.
go up to the window. Is that what
Okay.
they told you?
Mhm.
They said I went
I
up
don't
to the
wanna sit
window.
here and argue with you.
No, I'm asking. Is that what
Yeah.
they told? They said I went up to the window.
And
That's a
videotape
false
it.
police report.
Okay.
Because you could ask them for their cameras. Did you ask them for cameras?
And
investigate?
They just don't want you.
No, I'm saying, but they alleged
Yeah,
that I was on their.
investigation.
They alleged that I was on their property,
Okay.
and I was never on their property.
Okay,
I'm
I'll go
saying,
speak with them. Just
yeah, just
don't-
let them know I'm just exercising rights,
Okay.
just freedom to record and on public sidewalk. That's all I'm doing.
okay. Yeah,
You can let them know that though.
I got
Do you
you.
have an issue with PNC Bank? Is that
I never had an issue with PNC Bank. I was at Busey Bank too,
Okay.
and you know what they did?
Well,
They
what-
just shut the blinds.
Okay.
And they create that privacy.
Is
'Cause-
your like
Huh?
are you videotaping for like education on banks and stuff?
Well, this is just education
Oh, okay.
and my safety. The same reason y'all record, for y'all safety
Okay.
and my safety as well.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I never went on their property.
Okay. Yeah, like you're all good to record and stuff.
Yeah,
just-
I mean you can ask them for their camera footage out here, and you can see if I went on their property. If I did, I'll take the trespass, but I never went on the property.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Where are you parked at, sir?
Huh?
Where are you parked at?
What do you mean?
They said you were in a car.
I mean I don't know. They're in a lot of cars.
Okay.
I walked over here.
Okay. Where's your house at?
Huh?
Where's your house at?
I don't know. I don't answer these questions, ma'am.
Gotcha. Alright. Well,
I mean, I'm not gonna ask you where your house is at, you know.
Most people don't know this, but donuts used to have sharp edges. Now they removed those edges for officer safety, but it turns out in safe conditions, cops make consistently bad decisions. And it doesn't take long before you see these poor tyrants shopping for clothes in a sporting goods store in the camping section. Now let's proceed with caution. You never know when you're going to run into a sharp donut.
would you just mind kind of just taking your videotaping like somewhere else?
See, that's the thing with tyrant cops. There's always somewhere else to record. And then what if you go somewhere else and they get another call and then they tell you, well, you got to record somewhere else. Pretty soon you run out of somewhere else's to record. And that's how the boiling frog gets cooked in the once lukewarm waters of tyranny. Thanks, ignorant, friendly neighborhood cops.
Well, can I ask you guys a question? If you guys, since we're all just standing here,
Yeah, what's your question?
do you guys know all 5 elements of the First Amendment? I mean, I'll let them help you out. No?
What in the hell just happened here? Did I Eat Chicken TV just find their off switch? Did they enter hibernation mode? Are they rebooting? You know, YouTube just celebrated their 20th anniversary. That's 2 decades cops have had to review videos to brush up on a document they claim to be professional supporters and protectors of. So what's happening here?
How you doing? Can I get your name and badge number?
Sure. What's your name?
Well, she already knows my name. Apparently.
What in the hell is happening in this place? Is there a body mass index minimum to be a part of the Savannah, Georgia Police Department? Is it a requirement that your belt size be larger than your IQ? Did Big Boy become a cop and then have little cop children? It's almost too painful to proceed, but we must press on.
I don't think he has any idea what you're talking about. That's my card. My
Okay.
badge number's not on there, but it's
You're a
453.
sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
What brings you to the bank today?
I'm just recording on the sidewalk. I'm not even at the bank.
Do I?
I said I'm just recording on the sidewalk. I never went on their property.
I didn't. I said it's too
You
big.
know. Yeah. I was actually over there. And are you recording? Your body cam on?
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice.
Sure.
How they gonna trespass me from somewhere I never been?
Yeah, I don't know.
They
I
can't.
mean, they can tell you, they can say you can't come to this bank.
Yeah, but I've never
Can't
been on the
keep you off
property.
sidewalk.
I've never been on the property.
But you understand it's a bank, right?
Yeah.
Banks are like nervous because banks get robbed.
That's fine.
I'm not saying you're here to rob a bank.
I'm not.
asking you. You
I'd
understand
rather
people
roll a
get
joint
nervous
than
when
case
people-
one, you know?
Huh?
I'd rather roll a joint than case one. You know what I mean?
But you understand why places like this would get nervous.
Can I ask you a question?
Can you let me answer your
Yeah,
question?
go ahead,
Let
go
me
ahead.
explain something real
Go
quick?
ahead.
You got to understand why they're concerned about you being out here, because they're a bank, they got money
Yeah.
in there, they don't want to be a victim of a bank robbery.
Of
They don't
course.
know you.
Of course.
They called us because they didn't know why you were here, why you're hanging around. And
Okay.
yes, it's not illegal to be on the sidewalk and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not. But they still have the right, and I think the responsibility to call us when someone's doing that outside the bank.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What bank robber is gonna stand on the sidewalk and record the building and wait for you guys to get here? They told me they were calling you. They told me they was calling you. Don't you think I would have? You know?
Like I said, I'm not saying you're here to rob a bank.
Yeah, that would be the dumbest
I'm
bank
saying
robber in the world.
Your behavior is unusual for normal bank customers.
I'm not a customer.
Okay, so what brings you here?
I'm just recording on the sidewalk. I'm recording everything I can see, the neighborhood, that law
How much longer do you
office.
plan on being around the bank?
What do you mean?
How much longer do you plan to be here on the sidewalk in front of the
Well, I'm just gonna wait for you guys to roll out, and then I'm gonna roll out. That's it. You know, I was actually just about to leave.
What are you vlogging? Are you?
Yeah, I walk around and I just record. I vlog. You know, get the area. So yeah.
Are you from around here?
Am I from here? No.
Okay. How long have you been in this area?
For some time. For some time now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I never went in the bank.
I guess we're.
You can
This
ask
is the
them.
second time somebody's called on you.
Like I said, you can
One-
ask them
hang
for the
on.
cameras.
One time, I could have thought they said you were inside the building.
Oh, that's a false police report.
It's not a false police report.
I never went in. I was out here.
And I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I didn't. You can ask them for their cameras. They got
Okay.
cameras.
Well,
The furthest I've been is that plant right there.
how long have you been out here?
Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes. And then they rushed out and they told me they was gonna call y'all. So I didn't want you guys to spin the block looking. You know.
So what are your plans after we're done here?
Well, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm a little hungry. This rain just made me hungry. You know all 5 elements of the First Amendment?
All 5 elements of the first. Man, am I gonna show up on YouTube if I get it wrong?
Nah.
Speech, religion, assembly. They're like less. The other 2 that I'm missing. They're like lesser known ones, right?
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
Freedom to say what you want. Freedom to worship who you want. Freedom to peacefully protest.
You got more than most already. I give you a hint.
Okay.
It's something I'm doing right now.
You're just standing.
What am I doing though?
Recording?
Of course.
That's not in the first one.
Freedom of press.
Press.
There you go. There you go.
Press. So what's the fifth one?
You don't know?
I'm gone. If I do, I.
So what you got? Let's see what you got. You got speech,
Speech, religion, assembly. You help with press.
and there's a P one.
Well, P is press, so there's another P.
There's another P one.
I don't know.
Petition.
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 Explain that to me. What's that mean?
The freedom to petition the government.
Oh.
Imagine telling people you're a professional baseball player, but you never picked up a bat or a glove. Or telling people you're a professional electrician, but you don't know the difference between 110 and 220. Or being a mechanic who doesn't even know how to change a tire. I've always found it odd that these people call themselves law enforcers and they don't even know the basics of the supreme law. This is just pathetic.
Well, it's not. It's something you guys all should know anyway, because
No, I know.
if
but-
somebody like me comes out here to record, then you know, if you don't know your constitution, you guys could possibly violate my rights, just like she's about to come do right now.
How's she going to violate your rights?
She's about to give me a trespass warning
Right.
for
Saying
somewhere
you can't go on that property.
somewhere I've never been.
Right. And it's saying don't go there in the future. It's not saying this isn't anything about what happened in the past. It's saying it's
No, I'm talking about right now.
Come back in the future.
Yeah,
Do you have a telephone number or do you not want to give it to me?
I don't give out the information.
If I could just have you sign here.
For what?
It's your no trespass notice. It's just saying that I explained it to you. So basically what this means is a permanent trespass. So therefore if you come back, it is an arrestable offense.
Well, I've never been here.
Okay.
I never went on the property.
That's
In order to
just what-
trespass me, I have to have gone on the property. They told me to leave, and I refused to leave.
Okay.
And I've never gone on the property.
Okay.
I've been out here this whole time.
Okay. Do you want to sign it or no?
I'm not signing anything. I've never been on the property. Did they say I went on the property?
Yes, they say you're.
Did they say they said I was all the way up against the door? That's a
Here's your
false
copy.
police report. How do I go about that?
You can report it.
Can I report it right now?
Yep, it's recorded.
That they
Somebody
no, I'm saying that
you
they
followed
made
an
a
employee from their car to the front door.
I didn't
You should go
follow-
in the front door.
I didn't
like
follow
that.
anybody.
But
How would I know who's an employee out here?
Okay, we're not
I
gonna
don't- I
argue
don't
it.
know.
You're not allowed inside of that building, okay?
I
Or
never
on
went
that
in-
property, which includes the
I've
sidewalk
never
over
went
there
inside the
and
building.
the drive park.
I never went inside the building.
Do you
Okay.
need anything from us anymore?
I didn't call you guys.
Then you're free to go.
You guys are free to go too.
Do you plan on leaving?
Yeah. As soon as you guys roll out, I'm gonna roll out. Hey, Sarge.
I just don't understand why you're here. And
Sarge,
like, why this is all this grief.
You need to explain to them what the First Amendment is that I just explained to you. You need to explain, because you
What
know it
exactly
more.
did they do to violate your First Amendment?
This
rights?
trespass.
Right,
I
and what
never.
does it say?
I never went on the property.
It doesn't say you
Sarge.
went on their property. It's saying
They said I went on their property.
because someone in there said you.
Yeah,
went on their
they said
property.
I went all the way against the window. That's their property.
Right, and that's what someone told us.
I never went
so that's
on their
not the
property.
police doing anything.
No, I'm not saying that, but the trespass. You guys didn't properly invest. If you would have went inside there,
Okay, let me-
pulled the cameras, and seen that I was never on their property, I wouldn't have no trespass. And you, right?
Let me explain to you, Richard. Okay?
Okay.
And try not to interrupt.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
This block, this
Mhm.
section of property is
Okay.
owned and maintained by PNC Bank. Okay? That is their property.
The sidewalk.
Is that a true statement?
The sidewalk.
Does the building and
The
the parking lot belong
build. The
to the
building is theirs.
Does the building and the parking lot belong to the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. That piece of paper
Mhm.
says you are no longer allowed to come on their property.
Okay.
It's not saying, it doesn't say anything. I know someone says you went on their property before. That's irrelevant. This is private property because of how you're acting today. They are giving you notice that you are furthermore trespassed from their property. Should you choose to enter or remain on their property in the future, you could be subject to arrest.
And what I'm saying to you is, the trespass means that I went on to the property. They reported that I went onto their
Can I
property.
grab that paper and
Yeah,
something real quick?
yeah.
You are hereby given written and verbal notice of no
Mhm.
trespass. You may not enter or remain upon the land of the bank at this address.
Okay.
It's not saying you went on their property. It's saying you
They
cannot
said
come back
I
to
went
it.
onto their property
Right.
though. That's false. That's a false police report. Like I said, go in
It's
there.
not. They didn't.
Ask them for their footage. Ask them
Your-
for the footage.
No.
Please. Because I never went on
here's
there.
the
You
fact
know
of the
what I
matter.
mean?
Even if you're just,
I was right here on the sidewalk.
even if you're not doing anything, even if you're just standing there and they don't like the way you look or the way you smell or the way the shoes you're wearing, it is private property. They can tell whoever they want not to come on their property.
Sergeant Hukin's investigative skills are so non-existent that he doesn't understand that lying on a police report is a false report. Therefore, one can only assume that in the Savannah, Georgia Police Department, belt size requirements are far and away more important than intelligence scores.
They had a problem with me out here recording on the sidewalk, right? And they call more people down here with cameras. So now if I go down to the station, submit a FOIA, get the body cam footages, I got inside the bank. It didn't make no sense. You know what I mean? It didn't make no sense. And if you guys went in there and asked them if they wanted to trespass me, that's not right because I'm on the sidewalk. You know what I mean?
Right. But you still haven't given me a reason why you're on the sidewalk. besides
I'm just recording a video of an educational
you're allowed to
video.
do
That's
that.
all I'm doing.
So you're looking for a police response.
Of course not. I didn't tell them to call
So
the
what's the
police.
educational purpose of your video before the police get here?
What do you mean?
You said you're recording the video for educational purposes.
Yeah.
What educational purposes were you recording before the police?
Well, I'm just out here showing my people that you can record on the sidewalk without any problem.
Right. You can't.
Because that's my First Amendment right. Like we just went about, freedom of press.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's all I'm doing.
hopefully you've got your teaching points made.
If you want to support these troublemakers, and make no mistake, they are troublemakers, I'll leave their links in the description and in the pinned comment. If you happen to visit them, let them know Here's the Deal sent you. If you like these videos, maybe you'll like some of my others. I don't know. It's a kind of wacky idea, but if you want to support this channel, you can do it for free. Just like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon. If you want to grab one of these shirts, this right here is I need new conspiracy theories because the old ones turned out to be facts, or you can become a channel member. But regardless of what you do, know what your rights are, stand on your rights, and always exercise and flex your rights, because if you don't use your rights, you will lose them. I will see you in the next video.